Oh, well, I am so happy to have you here. I'm so thrilled to introduce you to Gaelle Berruel. And I said it right.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Gaelle, thank you so much for being on this podcast interview with me. I am thrilled to bits to have you here. And more importantly, I'm so excited because you and I have got something in common, which we spoke about earlier, which is more about the mindset, and in particular, the mindset of an entrepreneur, which I absolutely love. So why don't I hand over to you and just tell everybody about who you are and what you do.
Hi, everyone. I'm really honored to be here. My name is Gaelle Berruel. So I'm a mindset mentor, a fear expert, and a motivational speaker. And I'm working with women entrepreneurs to break free from their fears in order that they kick ass at life.
That's amazing. And tell me a little bit about how you got started in your business. What was that thing that actually made you, how can I say, take that leap of faith to start your business?
What's happened is I saw a lot of women around me, very smart, very brilliant, generous and everything, and suffering all the time because they couldn't basically get this mindset to make their mind work for them and not against them.
Mm.
And I was just, a kind of spectator in front of that, and it was really getting on my nerve. I said, it's not possible. They really can't be the woman they want to be. And at the same time, I didn't like the fact that I can see them suffering all the time.
Mm.
When I managed basically to make my mind work for me, not against me. And also because I know when you're able to overcome your fears, you're able to do so much things. There is so much bounty, there is so much goodness behind it that I really wanted to help them.
Mm.
And this is where I say, okay, let's do something about it. Let's show them that it's possible. It's possible to get the life you want, the business you want, the mentality you want to really create a life on your terms.
Yeah, no, that makes absolute sense. And you told me before that you were in marketing as well. Is that correct? Did you work in marketing and then transfer over into creating a rock star mindset?
In fact, when I started marketing, it was more because I really wanted to inspire people.
Mm.
And I love everything about graphics. I love everything about pins. And I really wanted with different quotes basically to inspire us, to give them this little boost of positivity to feel better. So
Yeah.
that's why I started this way. And after I say, oh, I can do more. I can add something more. And it's because a lot of women around me, they say, yeah, I want to do this. I want to do that. But yeah, my fear is holding me back. I'm not comfortable. I'm feeling stuck and everything. And I said, no, it's possible really to go after basically your dreams, to close the business you want to, if you know how basically to work with your mindset.
So why are you so passionate about being a mindset mentor? What is that passion behind that drive, getting you all excited every day to do what you do?
I believe that every woman deserves to have an healthy, happy, and strong mindset.
Mm.
And I know when you know more about neuroscience, positive psychology, you take the time really to understand how your mind works. You really can overcome your fears. And I think as women now, we really deserve to have this bounty and to stop basically being pressurized, to have so much expectation on us and to feel overwhelmed all the time. Why
Yeah.
would it be possible for men to do it and not for us? You know what I mean? We have so many responsibilities. We're juggling so many things at the same time that we deserve as well to have this opportunity to get after what we want, to be in a way unstoppable. And it's really something there for me, I would say, because yeah, this is why you're born. You're not born for mediocrity. You're not born basically just to play small. You're born for so much more. And that's why I
Absolutely.
always say, you're not born for the good or the better. You're born for the awesome, and you have to claim it for yourself.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I couldn't agree more. And I think that's the one thing, which is what we're going to get to in a little bit earlier on, or later on, not earlier on. But that's one of the one things that I'm so excited about, because there's so many obstacles holding us back. And what we don't realize, it's all us talking to ourselves, and it's all with the right mindset. And with only with the right mindset, and how you can move forward and get that dream or get that goal that you've always wanted. What motivated you then to start your business? Because I know you said earlier on you saw women who was in that kind of like spiral circle where they just didn't know how to get their dream. But for you personally, what inspired you or what motivated you to start your business?
Is really the fact that as women, I think I really want to see any woman I know to be on top of their game because they're brilliant, they're smart, they're generous, and most of the time, sometimes people cannot see it. They don't dare basically to speak their
Mm,
mind, to speak their truth, and I really want to see that. I really
mm,
want to empower women to a point where they're happy about themselves, they're happy where they are, and they're not hiding themselves because, yes, they fear to be visible or to be judged or to be rejected.
yeah.
I think we have a lot of potential, but you need to have this kind of key as well to unlock our potential. And
Mm.
this is where I'm so passionate because I know it's possible. I did it, and if I can do it, they can do it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Now let's quickly dive into the topics that you want to discuss and you want to teach the audience today. And I'm really excited about this. So the first thing in particular, which I know everybody always mentions or talk about, but no people or hardly anybody really understands this topic. So you want to talk to us about the fear of failure. And, you know, just like I said, go to town with it because this is such an important topic. And I think if people really understand the foundation of that fear, where that fear of failure comes in, and how they can make that mindset, that switch in order to just get out of that downward spiral and obviously start working towards their dreams and their goals. So please tell us a little bit about the fear of failure, your concepts, and what you want to do with that.
In regards to this fear, my God, I got so much about it because, when I became a mom, I was still working in corporate and I was in a new company as well. So it was a new role, new culture, new company, a lot of new. And it sounds fantastic at first, but my God, I was so scared to fail all the time. And I remember I didn't like at all to be judged.
Mm.
So I put the bar so high that I said nobody is going to judge me for what I do, and I'm going to be such in a point where I'm not going to fail. So I
Mm.
put the bar very high to be the best mom, to be the best manager I could be, to be the best wife. And I was running all the time. I was on autopilot. It's like I couldn't stop. It's like, you're coming back from work. And you have a second job because you're a mom anyway. You're going to look after your baby. You're going to make sure she's happy because I have a daughter. And you're going to prepare the meal for her and for your husband. You're going to put her to bed. And because you're completely tired, exhausted, you're going to fall asleep with her in the bed. You're going to wake up in the middle of the night. And you're just going to go in your kitchen. And it's like nothing changed when you left. Everything needs to be tidy up. And I remember it was, wow, 11 p.m. I was waking up, tidying up my kitchen and everything because I said, no, my kitchen, my living room needs to be tidy for my baby. It needs to be clean. And even for me, I think I needed that.
Yeah.
And after I remember, I was taking a shower and going back to bed. And I was waking up at 5 thinking, yeah, I want to work out and everything. I need to look after my body. It was crazy. When I think about it, it was crazy. It was mental. But I was such into this mentality. I'm not going to fail. I'm going to succeed. I can do it, that I
Mm.
put myself in a kind of Wonder Woman mentality. And I couldn't stop. And what's happened is really when at work I was thinking I was doing the best. As they told me, yes, girl is very good, but you need to slow down. You really need to slow down. It was like a slap in my face because I couldn't expect it. They say
Yeah.
it's great, but it's not you. You can do something much more better, much more meaningful, and you really need to slow down. And it was a slap in my face because I didn't expect it. It was, for me, it was like my performance review was like, shit, I say, I'm doing all this work and this is what basically I got told.
Yeah.
And I remember this day I cried so much. It's just like, when you bottle up all your emotion into you and you have something just triggering you, and this is exactly what's happened. And this day I cried so much on my balcony. I couldn't stop. It was like all the frustration, all the resentment, the judgment, everything I
Yeah.
faced just exploded. And I remember, I don't know when basically I stopped to cry, but I said something needs to be done. Something different needs to happen because it's not going to work. Something definitely is not good. And I remember at this time, I was still into this kind of limbo time, you know, when you don't know what to do, while you try to recover. And I said, now, most of the time when you face this way, there is something to learn. There is always something to learn from a failure.
Yes.
And I stepped back and I said, okay, what can I do about it? I said, what can I bring into my life to really feel that I'm going to be aligned with myself? And this is where I started to ask to have more flexibility into my work. I started to ask more help to my husband because I was bringing my baby to the nursery on the morning. I was picking her up on the evening. I was running all the time. It wasn't possible. And I think when you start really to see the pace in where you were, the pace you created for yourself, you say, no, I need to put some boundaries. I need to do things differently. And this is what I did. And when I did it, I did notice that basically it was more meaningful. It was more from a place of rest, not hustle. That I didn't need basically to perform like I thought. I didn't need to rush to hustle all the time. And it's like everything around me is slowing down at the same time. I always notice it. When you really pushing, hustling, it's like the time is contracting around you. Nothing is going to convince you that you have more time. But when you slow down, you take the time to look around you, to take the time to speak to people. I think just take the time to do things, bring more qualities and quantity.
Yeah.
This is where really the difference is.
Yeah.
And this is what happened. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I completely understand that. And I think it's so important as well, in particular in today's world. I mean, everything is a rush. There's a constant rush, and particularly with technology as well. You know, technology is evolving at such a rapid state. If people send an email now, they expect to have a reply within minutes.
Exactly.
So there's that constant rush and that constant motion of just being, you know, putting the bar higher and higher and higher for yourself. And you know what? With all of the women that I've spoken about, in particular, who are running their own businesses, I find the same kind of similarity. And I think it's because women, we do put a lot of pressure on ourselves in order to be at that point where we've got to get better and better and better, because we are scared of failing.
Yes,
and that's the thing. We are so scared of failing at everything, or at anything for that matter, at being a mum, at being a wife, you know, at being a daughter, a sister. It doesn't matter. We're just so scared of failing those responsibilities. And I completely agree with what you're saying. It's all about just slowing down and just focusing on what is actually important in your life and what you actually need to do. So from your experience, what would you like to share with the audience? What do you think they can basically do in order to help them get over that point of fear of failure?
I think what is really important is you have to take the time to get this reality check.
Yeah.
To really define what you want to be as a modern woman. What is important to you, what matters to you. Because if you don't do it, people are going to do it for you.
Yeah.
There is so much pressure, expectation on us every day, that if you don't take this time, which I think is a really sacred time, that you're not going to get to the point where you can matter to what is important to you.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
This definition is key. It's key. When you do it, you know what is important, and you can set up your boundaries, and you can ask help where is it necessary. But you need to get this kind of visibility once you do this inner work for yourself.
Yeah.
This is what I would say. The second thing I would say is really failure. You have to change basically your perception about it. For me, when I fail, I say, okay, I'm feeling rejected. It's not a nice feeling. I completely agree. But I see it as a gift. Because I know that the direction I'm taking right now is not the right one.
Yeah.
So better basically to move on, really, and to lead my focus and my energy into something different, a new idea, a new project, a new person. Because this is where I'm going to see my bounty and the greatness behind my business.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's really key. And I think it's really a gift in a certain way. You imagine that you're doing something every day and there is no way for you to know if what you're doing is right.
Yeah.
It's crazy, you know. But when you fail, you know, you have this kind of wake up call and say, okay, let me cross correct, let me adjust basically my map and everything, and let's do into this other direction.
Yeah. And I think I can relate to that a little bit as well, because I had a fantastic job before, working as well full time. But for me, I just felt like I wasn't quite sure where I was going. Yes, I could possibly go up the ladder and I can continue doing that, but there was just something missing. And I knew that something was a dream I've had since I was 13 to always become an entrepreneur.
Oh, wow.
And then at that point, I was like, okay, take that leap of faith. And that's where the fear of failure just kept coming in. And I put so much pressure on myself in the job that I did. And I did feel at one point that I was starting to get burned out. But then it's like you said, I took that time. I set some time aside for myself. I clearly remember this. It was over Christmas, New Year period.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, where am I going? What is my decision? And my husband and I, we were actually in France at that point. We were driving to meet some friends for dinner.
Okay.
And as we were driving, I was like, I've made my decision. I am going to start my own business. And we spoke about it on the drive there. And I said, okay, all I need to do now is I am going to go and sit and make a list of all the pros and all the cons, and then look at all the cons and find kind of like ways in order to get over that fear. Because all the cons I know would be the things that would be stopping me from physically going in there and saying, this is what I'm going to do. And then I did it. So if you're listening to this podcast now, if you're watching this video, I would love for you at least to go and think about where you are now within your business. How do you feel about, maybe like Gaelle says, just taking some time for yourself and just thinking about slowing down, and what is more important for you? What do you need to focus on? And then whatever it is that you feel is stopping you, whatever that fear of failure is, whatever you feel that, or whatever those elements are that you feel you could fail at in order to make a shift in yourself or in your business, in your life, wherever it is. But just think about those kind of elements and what you can do in order to overcome that fear. And if you completely agree with this and you feel that now's the time, you want to take that time for yourself and just think about it, then leave us a comment below this podcast. I'd love, and Gaelle would love to hear from you. So we can obviously get in contact with you and we can chat with you and share everything. And I think it's a great conversation to have as well. So I'm really excited about that. And thank you so much for that. The other thing that you wanted to talk about, which I know this is something that is happening quite a lot in all of the students and all of my coachees that I always work with, is particular when it comes to us as women being entrepreneurs. We completely and totally feel overwhelmed all the time. And this is something that you said you're very passionate about as well. So why don't you just start off with it and just tell us a little bit about that topic and how you want to dive into it?
Okay, now I love this topic because when I just said the word, I saw so many women basically just looking at me and say, oh, I'm really interested. What's going on? Yeah. And when I started to create my business, it was exactly the same. I was feeling overwhelmed all the time because when you think about it, you have to wear so many hats. You need to be the CEO, the VA, the customer service manager, the marketing. You need to do everything. And sometimes you really don't know where to start. And at the same time, you want to grow your business and you just want to have this kind of a roadmap where someone is telling you this is the way to do things, but you don't have this roadmap. I think this is what is the challenge of being an entrepreneur. And it was the same. It was the same. So I was in this situation to trying to figure out where I need to do. And at the same time, you know, you're a mom, you're a wife, you're trying to do everything. And yes, you're feeling so much overwhelmed. And what's happened with this feeling, it was quite interesting because it's like being on autopilot is exactly the same. And I couldn't go into the point where I said, but what's going on? Why I always have this feeling? And what is really, I think, negative with overwhelm, you can go into this kind of self-sabotage spiral, you know, when you start to feel guilty, you start to feel ashamed, you start to feel embarrassed. You are kind of in a kind of emotional storm. You cannot think straight. You don't know what to do, where to go. And sometimes, yes, you don't even dare to ask for help because you don't get it. It's so
Absolutely.
intense and so powerful that either you freeze or you go into a kind of attack mode. Like me, I used to snap to everyone around me, because I was, no, I cannot basically handle what is happening inside of me. So don't even try basically to go around me. And I really look at it more carefully and I say, no, you need to find a way around it. Why is it happening to you? How can I learn from it? And this is where I really dive into neuroscience, personal development, energy, spirituality. I said, no, it's not possible. There is so much stuff out there. There is a way. There is a way, because you can see successful women having business and everything. So this is where I did it. I dive into it. And yes, I found different tools that you can use really to reduce your overwhelm. But I would say mindset is really playing a key role into it.
Absolutely.
Because if you're able basically to focus your mindset on something else, and I think it did happen to me one time when I was so overwhelmed, but I think a friend called me regarding something urgent for her that she was not feeling well, and I just diverted my focus onto her and I help her. I get out of this overwhelm immediately,
Yes.
and I step back and I say, "Oh wow."
That's
And I
powerful.
say, wow, I'm able for her to be so focused and to help her resolve the matter and to feel better when, when it's about me. I
Yeah.
can't. I say, no. That's why I say, okay, let's try different ways to divert basically my attention to something else.
Yeah.
This is the first thing I did. And it did work. It did work when I started to focus about something else, or focus on my family, on focus on being grateful for what I have. Yes, it did work. It's switching basically your mind, and your mind basically the left part of your brain, which is really the rational mind,
Yeah.
everything about critical, analytical. You're going to lead it basically to something else, and it's going to look for the solution. And this is where your overwhelm start to go down immediately, and you start to get back your objectivity. But it's true, when you feel over, at first you don't think about it.
No,
It's so intense.
it's happening.
Yes, it's like being an emotional storm. You start to be teary, you start to feel flustered and everything. Your heart is beating so fast, and yeah, it's like you're in a panic or attack mode or something. And I think, yeah, there is this kind of feeling sometimes it's so debilitating. You say, but what's going on? I'm a smart, brilliant woman. What is happening to me? But now it's just your brain being basically into overdrive mode, and you need to lead it to something else.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, I'm making some notes here as we're talking because there's some great stuff that is coming from this. And I think one of the things that you specifically say, which is so, so important, and I couldn't agree more with it, is firstly, let's backtrack a little bit. Once you start getting into that overwhelm mode, it's very true that you don't recognize it, specifically if you don't know what to look for, because it's happening subconsciously and it's just starting to get there and it starts building up on top of each other and you start getting to this overwhelm mode. And then the emotions start reacting to that overwhelm. But that overwhelm basically is conversations you are having with yourself. And correct me if I'm wrong here, but I find that sometimes that overwhelm is actually just stories you're telling yourself, sometimes even subconsciously, because of your habits, because of things you believe in. And that starts just building up. But in order to get out of that overwhelm, as soon as you start shifting your attention on something else and not on yourself, so you're not constantly thinking about yourself, thinking, how am I doing? What am I doing? How am I going to get out of this? As soon as you focus your attention on something else, and even better so, if you can focus your attention on something else where you can help somebody else, that is the absolute key. And I completely agree with you. A little example that I want to use there is when I started my business, I was going through stages of overwhelm because I wanted to do everything. I wanted to get my business up and running. And but immediately, as soon as I started coaching my students and I was completely focusing my attention on them, the overwhelm completely dissipated. And it was basically being fulfilled with that gratitude, with that that positive feeling of being able to help somebody and
Yeah,
guiding them.
definitely.
And that's what I'm saying, because I can relate to this. I so agree with what you're saying. And if you are listening to this now, I'm sorry, I'm getting so excited. You can see I'm just stumbling over my words.
I love it.
But if you are listening to this now and you're in an overwhelmed state where even, the littlest things can happen for you at that point. You've got an appointment and somebody cancels that appointment. You're thinking, what am I doing wrong? Why is somebody canceling my appointment? Or even smaller than that, you've got an email list and people are unsubscribing from your email list. And you're thinking, what
Yeah.
am I doing wrong? Why are people unsubscribing from my email list? And you're just
Oh, yeah.
thinking that constantly you are doing things wrong, you are bad, you're getting overwhelmed, and you're just putting yourself in the state, which is so unnecessary. So
I think
whenever, sorry, go on.
sorry, now I just wanted to say, I think the key is don't take it personally.
Exactly,
Don't
exactly.
take it personally. Just step back from it, and just look at it in a way. Okay, it happened to me 2 days ago. It's very good you're talking about
Oh,
it. It
please tell
happened
us.
2 days ago. Two people subscribed for my email list, and I was, oh, what the hell is going on? And I said, no, 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 no. I said, no, no, again. Step back from it, okay? You have more people on this email list. They love what you do. You only have two that unsubscribe. What does it mean? They are not your people. That's it.
Exactly. And it's so important to have that conversation with yourself. So whenever it gets to this point, grab that moment you're having that conversation with yourself and just go, okay, I'm having this conversation. It's not making me feel any better. So it's not the right conversation to have. So how do I swing it around? Go and start focusing on something else that is more important, where you can go out and help somebody, or at least help motivate somebody, inspire somebody, whatever it is. Just focus your attention on something else. And it's immediately going to stop that overwhelm and fill that space, that void then, with more gratitude and more positive energy. So I completely agree with that. And gosh, I love it. I think you and I can have this podcast going on for hours and hours.
Yeah, we can discuss for ages.
I know. Okay, so I think the other thing you wanted to talk about, which I think is so important today, in particular with the online world and with social media, because social media is great for visibility, but there's also the aspect where people have that fear of visibility. So why don't you talk to us a little bit about the fear of visibility and your take on it?
I really love basically this fear now.
Oh, please do share with us. Share with us why you say that.
Because I remember when I started and everything, I was happy to be behind my laptop and everything and write blog posts and inspire people with my pins. But it came to a point where you do realize that you need to be out there. You need to show up. And the key really is to understand that it's not about you. It's about them. If you want for them to show up, to be safe with you, to be vulnerable with you, you have to be exactly the same way in front of them.
Yeah.
And this is why I think they love so much videos, because they can see your face, they can see the way you're speaking, they can feel your energy, your passion, basically, to serve them. And this is where you're making all the difference in your business. If you
Absolutely.
really show up for them this way, and you're not afraid to do it, they're going to feel it. They're going to say, oh, wow, this one, she's not afraid. She's a leader. She wants to help me. I'm going to listen to her.
Yeah.
I'm going to see what is behind basically this person. And when you do understand basically, I think this mindset, this kind of perspective, everything starts to switch off, because it's a way for you to connect to your why. Why are you doing this business?
Absolutely.
Why are you helping these people? Do you want for them to be empowered, to be inspired, to be motivated, to overcome their fears? Think just about them. And when you're going to speak, if you have this fire in you, it's going to be seen. They're going to see it.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of women I know have this fear. And I think it's linked to the fact that we're trying so much, I think, to create our kind of happiness bubble of happiness, to be safe and everything, that when we realize that to create a business, you need to get out of there, out of it, I would say, you say, oh my God, I can't. Because I think we took so much time, to feel happy, to build our self-esteem, our self-worth, that we cannot imagine that. But this is the key. this is a bounty. People want to see your vulnerability.
Yeah.
They want to see that basically, yes, you too, you got struggle, you got experiences, you got failures, because you get real for them. And I think that's why a lot of people want. They're tired about the fake, they're tired about the lie. They want to see what is real, what you really are as a person. And this is where you can show up and be authentic as you are. Don't be afraid, basically, to play big or to speak your truth, because this is what they want to hear.
And in particular as well now with social media, I mean, you've got Instagram TV or IGTV, which makes it so much easier for people just to shoot a quick video. But yet so many people are not using that advantage because, again, they're scared of just showing up and showing their true selves. They feel that they need to have a script prepared. They feel that they need to be perfect. They need to look perfect on camera. And that's not what it's all about. It's all about your message and your authenticity. When you started doing your videos, tell us a little bit about that first video that you made and how you felt and how nervous you were and how that kind of evolved from there the more you did it.
I think it's quite interesting. When I started, I was a bit a kind of a recovery perfectionist. So I was, oh no, this is not right. The light is not great. No, my hair, no, I didn't put some makeup and everything. And more I started to do it, and more this fear came up, a kind of resistance to do not do it again and again and again. And I was, what is behind it?
Yeah.
Why I'm afraid to make a video when for me it's like speaking my truth, is like engaging with my people. So I said, okay, let's give a try to it. And I started to do it more and more. But what I did, I basically mixed to it a kind of energy of fun, of passion, and really of love. And I say, yeah, what I want to bring to people, it's my love, it's my energy. I want to say to them, you know what you're feeling, what you're experiencing right now, I got it because I experienced it. I'm in front of you. I'm telling you basically what I experienced. If I can do it, you can do it too. And I turn it this way. I say, no, do it in a fun way. Do it in a playful way because it's you in front of the camera. They can see you and they really can interact with you. And I did it this way. So sometimes, it doesn't like the light is great or something, but I said, no, bring some imperfection into it,
Yeah, it doesn't have to be perfect. Anyway. No, exactly.
And you don't, sometimes people say, yeah, you need to have a script or something, but I have to say most of the time, I don't have a script when I'm making a video. I'm just thinking about one subject and it's like, I'm on fire about this subject and I go for it. And I think this is why people respond to it.
Absolutely.
This is your passion.
Yeah.
So yes, I would say just add some energy to it, and think about it. It's not about you.
Yeah,
it's about your message. It's about your voice. That's it. This is what they want to hear.
And it's funny that you're saying that because it takes me back to when I did my first video. Oh my goodness. I think I took about 200 takes. And even then I wasn't happy with it. But the whole thing is one of the things that was a big learning curve for me about the sphere of visibility. I think the thing is I was constantly thinking, what are other people going to think of me when they see a video of me? So with that, in my mindset, I kept on saying to myself, well, if they're going to see it, it needs to be perfect. It needs to be perfect. So I started writing out my scripts and I started reading my scripts while being on camera. And then when I was looking back at these and I was like, that's not me. I sound like a robot, really, reading through the script. Okay. So I went, let's try it again. I knew what I wanted to talk about because I knew I was an expert within my field and I had my topics. And then I just sat there and I just started talking as if I was talking to a person, having this conversation, teaching this camera basically about what I wanted to talk about, thinking how this camera would actually benefit from what it is that I'm teaching. And immediately then I saw a huge difference. I went and I put that video out on my first Facebook page and I had great responses coming back from it. And I was like, that is key. It's not about the lighting. It's not about the makeup. It's not about where you're doing the video. I mean, simple example, I'm sitting in my home. I'm sitting in my office, in my home. You're at your home and we're not thinking about is the decor right? Is the makeup right? I mean,
It's true.
we're just having a great conversation here. And that's why I always say when I do these interviews, it's all about the flow. It's about having that conversation and just being natural, because that's where you show the best part of yourself.
Yes,
So
no, I do agree.
yeah, so if you're listening to this and you're scared of getting on camera and showing up for your audience, so visually in particular, so they can see you and hear you and see your expressions and feel your energy, then just remember, just be yourself. Just start off by taking a little couple of videos and just start talking. Be yourself. Don't overthink things. Perfectionism doesn't exist, so nothing needs to be perfect. And just put it out there and just see what your audience thinks. Even ask them for their feedback if you want to. But you'll see that it's so little to do with where you're doing it, what the lighting is about, how you're looking. It's all about what you're saying and about your energy. So if you are scared of visibility and you've got this whole fear about visibility, then by all means, just go out there and try it. And Gaelle, if you possibly have a couple of pinpoints or tips that you want to give the audience as to how they can get over that fear of visibility, of being in front of the camera, what would you suggest?
I think, for example, if you have a Facebook group, this is the way I started. I have a Facebook group and I couldn't see myself basically to go public with video. So what I did, I just started with little steps. I just started to make video in my Facebook group. And one step at a time, I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, until I started to get great feedback. People were asking for more and everything, and it gave me the courage, because there was a momentum behind it. It gave me the courage to say, okay, let's do it. Let's go public, I'm going to do an event, so why I wouldn't do basically a video and to be seen by the entire world, no matter what, as long as basically you bringing value to your people, you bringing value to the people listening to you, it's worth it.
Absolutely.
That's it.
Yeah, absolutely. Start small and just build it up from there. Oh my God. Well, this has been absolutely fantastic. Like I said, we could go on for hours on this podcast and just keep on talking about it. So I think it has been absolutely fantastic. And why don't you tell us, because I know you said that you're working on something in particular that you want to give the audience away for free. And you were saying in particular that you're working on an offer to help entrepreneurs or women entrepreneurs to cool down their overwhelm in 20 minutes or less and focus more on their businesses.
Yes, so for you, I created a free roadmap. This roadmap is helping you basically to overcome your fears. It's for successful women to overcome their fears and to be unstoppable in their business. This is available on my website. It's really giving you the 5 powerful ways to overcome your fears, and really don't hesitate. Really, if you feel ready to overcome your fears, you have this kind of this calling or this need to be more, to do more and contribute more in a certain way, go for it. This is on my website.
Absolutely. So what we're going to do is we're going to have the link at the bottom in my show notes, and we're also going to have Gaelle's website, A Rockstar Mindset. So you can obviously go and have a look there. Gaelle, is there anything else that you would like to add? Anything else that you would like to share with the audience? Like I said, we can go on for hours, but if there's anything else you'd like to add right now, by all means, go for it.
I would say to all of you, if you are feeling overwhelmed, it's completely normal. From a neuroscience perspective, it's just the reaction we create when we have so much demand. All these demands demand your time and your attention. And the moment basically our brain cannot take it anymore. So that's why basically it starts to become a kind of danger for our brain. And this is where the command center of your fears, amygdala, start to be activated. And this is where all these stress hormone, cortisol are coming into your body. And you have this kind of emotional response when you feel paralyzed, you freeze and everything. So the overwhelm is really the fuel of your fears. Be aware about it. You cannot overcome your fear when you feel overwhelmed. And that's why I created an offer which is helping you to reduce, to cool down your overwhelm in 20 minutes or less for more focus in your business and in your life. So if you really want to get to this point where you're able to reduce your overwhelm, get back your focus onto your business and feel great about what you're doing every day, I invite you basically to join me on my website for this offer.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm going to go and have a look as well. So thank you so much for letting us know about that. It's going to be absolutely amazing. It's going to be great. Gaelle,
Thank
thank
you.
you so, so much. I really appreciate you being here with us today and taking the time to sharing all of this amazing stuff. I mean, it is just fantastic. And if any of you are out there and you're listening to this right now, please feel free to leave me and Gaelle a comment below this podcast. We'd love to hear your thoughts, your takes on this, and, you know, just start applying some of these things in your life. And you're going to see already such a dramatic difference when you just start focusing
Yes.
on these kind of fears and just swapping it around, shifting it around, shift your mindset in order to actually go for what it is that you want in life. But again, Gaelle, thank you so, so much. I
Yes,
really
thank you
appreciate
so
it.
much. It was an honor to be there.
Oh, bless you.
Thank you so much, basically, because I think you and me, we are the same mindset, really, to help
Absolutely.
women
Yes.
entrepreneurs, and I love it. I love it.
Oh,
So, yes.
no, thank you so much. Well, enjoy the rest of your day, and
You
we will
too.
get back to you again very soon. Make sure to go to the bottom of this podcast where you can go and see all the show notes with Gaelle's links. Thank you again, and we'll speak to you soon.
Thank you. Bye.